Hey y'all, it's Lindsay. I wanted to sit down and have a little chat with you today. In a recent live stream video with Neely, my friend over at the channel Indigo Neely, we discussed a whole host of different things that I think you should go check out if you have not watched the replay yet, or if you did not catch the live stream. The replay is still up on her channel. I will be sure to link this specific live stream down in my description box below. She asked me a question, which was, did you see Laura Spath's recent video about stopping all of these trends and challenges in the carnivore space? And I had not at the time, but now I have finished watching it, and I wanted to add my 2 cents just because Neely asked. I wouldn't normally, but I wanted to share my thoughts. Okay, if you're new here, I'm Lindsay. I have been following a keto-friendly way of life since 2016, and I share things regarding that here on this channel. Love to have you stick around, subscribe if you haven't already. And now let's talk about this specific video. Laura Spath's video will be linked in my description box below. If I didn't say that already, my brain is a little bit like right now, so please forgive me. In Laura's video, she specifically called out a few challenges. She called out the sardine challenge, the 2 sticks of butter per day challenge, and my favorite, the egg fast challenge. Now, I don't ever consider an egg fast to be a challenge, and I do them regularly. I have a few different videos here showing you how I execute an egg fast, and recently, my friend Neely and I did the egg fast together, because sometimes it's fun to do with a buddy. I said in that video that my goal is not about weight loss. My intentions for egg fasts are typically surrounding like 2 or 3 reasons. The first one is simplification. Life can get pretty busy and decision fatigue can weigh heavily on me. So when I start to feel that way, I will simplify my life and make the decision to eat eggs and fat for a few days so that I don't have to think about it anymore. It's no longer a question of what are you eating? It's a question of have you cooked it yet? So simple way to eliminate decision fatigue in my life. A second reason is for a palate reset. Like my taste buds need to be reset because we travel out of the country every once in a while. And when we are out of the country, I will actively choose to eat whatever delicacies or local fare is where we are. And if it's got higher carbs or if it's got sugars in it, I tend to be mindful, but I also do not just completely say no. I typically am not going to be going back and forth to these places on a consistent basis. So I would like to enjoy the culture while I am immersed in that culture. But when I get back home, I sometimes need a palate reset. So I will pull an egg fast out of my little tool belt and I will use the egg fast to reset my taste buds. And then another reason that I will utilize an egg fast is when I feel my inflammation in my body just like building. I eat keto-friendly foods all the time. There are no ketogenic foods, no keto food specifically, but there are foods that are more keto-friendly and foods that are not. And I can sometimes get a little bit out of balance with pepper jack cheese, pepperoni, and pecans. Those can be really, really problematic for me. I love them. I love them to the moon and back, but it can cause snacking to get out of hand. It can cause me to just kind of like get a little bit inflamed because of too much of any one of those 3 things. And I can just do pepperoni and still get that way. I can just do pecans and still get that way. And did you guess it? I could just do pepper jack cheese and get that way. Or if we have charcuterie board in, like for a meal or that we take to friends' houses or whatever the case is, if I eat too many of these adult Lunchables without the crackers, mind you, just the cheeses and the meats and the nuts, I can get inflamed. I also, can we just take a quick tangent detour? I have a TMJ disorder. And so whenever my body gets inflamed, it makes my jaw very, very sore. there's a lot of tension there. So I will use the egg fast as the tool to eliminate that inflammation, eliminate those foods for a while so that I can get back to baseline and then try to reintroduce things that are not as inflammatory for me. Now that I've given you all of that context, I wanted to say just like 2 more things. The first thing Laura did a very good job touching on, and that was all about the mindset. Now, I would go a little bit further and suggest that it's really understand your root motivation. Why are you actually doing this thing? Is it because it is a trend? Is it because you're seeking validation? Is it because everybody else is doing it and you don't want to get left out? If that is the case, I would pause and try to work through some of that. However, if your root motivation is, I want to do this for this specific reason, I'm going to then use it as a short-term tool, and then I'm going to go back to my regular way of life, so be it, so be it. But identify that root motivation and don't do it because you think that it's going to get you accolades. That's not it. The second thing I would say is that I am a staunch believer in personal responsibility. So if you personally choose to go off and do a fast, whether it's sardines, butter, egg fast, B, and E that Dr. Ken Berry has sort of given us, go do that thing. But be aware that any positive or negative consequences, they're all yours to own. They're not for anybody else. All right, I don't know if all that made sense, but we're gonna stop it right there. YouTube is amazing at figuring out what kind of videos you like and which ones may be good for you next. So go over here and check this one out. I'm gonna meet you over there.